All right, get ready to dive into 17th century England. It was a world of like witty wordplay and where owning land meant you had power. Think think like Shakespeare's time, but with even more flamboyant hats.
I like that.
We're going to be exploring excerpts from Wit Without Money, a comedy by Beaumont and Fletcher.
Ugh.
And this play really tackles some like timeless questions and makes you think about, wealth, love, and like what does it really mean to be happy? What does it really mean?
Yeah. And it's a fascinating play. It's full of laughs, but it also digs into some pretty serious social commentary.
Uh-huh.
So imagine a society where land ownership was everything. It was your ticket to power, security, and social status.
Okay, so inherited wealth, that was the ultimate status symbol back then.
Yeah,
Got it.
Meg, exactly.
Okay, we'll set the stage for us. Who are the main players in this comedic drama?
Okay, so our main character, our leading man, is Valentine.
Okay.
And he's a gentleman who turns the whole idea of wealth on its head.
Okay.
He's from a well-off family, but he chooses to live in poverty. He rejects his inheritance, much to the dismay of his rather conventional uncle.
Wait, he's choosing to be poor.
Yeah, he's choosing to be poor.
That is a bold move, especially for that era. Why on earth would he do that?
He sees traditional wealth as like a trap. He sees it as a burden that ties people down to like daily sweat and trouble. Valentine's just not interested in owning land or the typical ways that people made money. He's like, nope, not interested. Instead, he relies on his wit and his charm to navigate the world.
So he's kind of like a charming rogue, kind of like living by his wits and other people's generosity.
Precisely.
Okay.
And what's so fascinating is that Valentine doesn't just like reject wealth. He actively mocks people who chase it.
Uh-huh.
For example, he calls his own father a fool for being besotted to his state. And he's basically saying, he's blinded by his wealth and missing out on the real joys of life.
Wow. He doesn't hold back.
No, he doesn't.
But you have to admit, though, there's something kind of appealing about his carefree, independent spirit. Is there any method to his madness, though?
Yeah.
What does he actually get by day to day?
He claims, my wit's my plow, the town's my stock, tavern's my standing house. Basically, he sees the entire city as his source of income.
Okay.
And he seems to think that every gentleman's purse is open to him.
So he's like a professional freeloader, but with a philosophical side. Okay, I can definitely see why his uncle might be concerned.
Oh, yeah?
Does this unconventional lifestyle put him at odds with anyone else?
Oh, absolutely. His uncle is desperate to restore Valentine to his, rightful place in society. And the play even mentions how his servants are confused. They're like, who bought the silk you wear?
Right.
They just can't wrap their heads around his choices. So his uncle tries to kind of nudge him towards marrying this wealthy widow. He's figuring that's the easiest way to solve Valentine's financial woes.
Oh yeah, the classic marry rich scheme.
Exactly.
But knowing Valentine, I bet he doesn't exactly jump at that idea.
You are right on the money. His reaction is priceless. He tells his uncle that he would prefer a wife without eyes, ears, or substance. He says he wants someone who won't tempt him back into a life of luxury. Basically what he's saying is, I want a wife who won't challenge my willfully poor lifestyle.
Yeah, he's definitely not playing by society's rules. Okay, well, tell me about this wealthy widow he's supposed to marry. Who is she? And is she aware of Valentine's, shall we say, unique approach to life?
So the widow, Lady Hartwell, is a force to be reckoned with.
Okay.
She's wealthy, witty, and very independent.
Wow.
Which is a rare combination for a woman in 17th century England.
Yeah, definitely.
And yes, she's fully aware of Valentine's reputation, but like everyone else, she's intrigued by his unconventional ways.
I bet. A wealthy, sharp-tongued widow and a charming rogue who rejects wealth. That's like a recipe for some serious sparks. Are there any other suitors vying for her attention?
Oh, absolutely. We've got Fountain, Bellamore, and Harebrain, and each one's trying to win her over with their own unique approach. But Valentine sees right through them. He mocks their pursuit of her wealth.
Yeah.
And he offers his friends some, questionable advice on how to woo a widow.
No way, he's giving his friends love advice?
He is.
Oh, man, I can only imagine the kind of hilarious, probably terrible suggestions he's coming up with.
It's pure comedic gold.
Okay.
And it really highlights the fact that Valentine, even though he's poor, holds a certain power over these other men.
Yeah.
His wit and charisma make him the center of attention, even when he's supposedly penniless.
It's almost like he's deliberately trying to disrupt the social order.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Okay, well, speaking of money troubles, though, what's happening with his brother, Francisco? Is he embracing poverty too?
Oh, Francisco's a different story altogether. He's a struggling scholar who spent all of his money on books and travel.
Oh.
Think of him as the original starving artist. He's down to his last few shillings and in desperate need of help.
Okay, so Francisco's the more like practical and grounded brother. But what does Valentine's rejection of wealth say about their relationship? Are they like at odds because of their differing views?
That's a great question, and it gets to the heart of one of the play's central themes. And it's the tension between traditional values and a more individualistic, almost rebellious spirit. You see, Valentine's rejection of his inheritance isn't just about money, it's a statement about personal freedom.
Okay.
And it's about challenging the status quo, whereas Francisco represents the struggles of people who are just trying to make their way in the world
Yeah.
without the safety net of family wealth.
Yeah, so it's a clash of philosophies as much as it is a difference in lifestyle.
Exactly.
This is where things get really interesting for me. How do these contrasting viewpoints play out in their interactions with each other and the other characters?
Well, that's a story for our next act. And trust me, things are about to get a whole lot more complicated, especially when a mysterious benefactor enters the picture.
The mysterious benefactor. Okay, now I'm hooked. Don't leave us hanging. Tell us more about this intriguing twist in part 2 of our deep dive.
That's good.
Okay, we're back and ready to, unravel more of this comedic tangle that is wit without money.
Yeah.
Last we left off, Francisco was down to his last shilling,
Uh-huh.
and the mysterious benefactor was about to, shake things up.
Right.
This sounds like the plot twist we were waiting for.
It certainly is. Francisco, unlike his brother, he's struggling.
Yeah.
He's a scholar devoted to knowledge.
Right.
But he spent all his money on, books and travels.
Yeah, he's the classic starving artist type.
Exactly.
We definitely got that impression.
Yeah.
He seems like the more grounded brother,
Yeah.
right? Grappling with these real-world problems while Valentine's out there challenging societal norms.
Uh-huh.
So tell me, how does this mysterious benefactor come into play?
Okay, so picture this. Francisco is at his lowest point, worrying about, where his next meal is going to come from.
Yeah.
When suddenly the widow's servant, Short Hose, shows up,
Okay.
and he hands Francisco a bag of gold,
Wow.
a considerable sum, with one very specific instruction.
Oh.
He says, spend it and say nothing.
Spend it and say nothing.
Yeah.
That's intriguing.
Right.
It's almost like someone's testing him,
Yeah.
seeing if he'll, use the money wisely or if he'll spill the beans about where it came from.
Exactly. It's a really fascinating exploration of charity and social class.
Uh-huh.
And the play doesn't reveal the benefactor's identity right away. It leaves the audience and Francisco to speculate,
Yeah.
who would be generous enough to help him.
Right.
And what are their motives?
Okay, I have to admit, I'm dying to know who the secret benefactor is.
Yeah, it's like a 17th century whodunit.
Right. But before we get to that, let's talk about the other key players in this comedic web. What about the widow's suitors?
Okay.
Are they still trying to win her over?
Oh, they're absolutely still in the game.
Okay.
But they're starting to look a bit foolish compared to Valentine.
Yeah.
He may be willfully poor, but his wit and charm make him, stand out.
Well,
Remember, the play is called Wit Without Money for a reason.
right.
Yeah.
It's like he's proving that intelligence and charisma can be more valuable than material wealth.
Exactly.
So how do the suitors react to Valentine's, shall we say, unconventional approach to courting the widow?
They're baffled,
Really?
to say the least. They can't understand why the widow would even give him a second glance,
Yeah.
given his lack of fortune.
Yeah.
It's a classic case of old money versus, charm and personality.
Right.
And this is where the play really starts to poke fun at these societal expectations.
Yeah, I love that. It's like the playwrights are saying, hey, look, there's more to life than just chasing wealth and status. But back to the mystery at hand. Have we gotten any closer to uncovering the identity of Francisco's benefactor?
We have indeed.
Okay, tell me.
The play reveals that it's actually Isabella, the widow's sister, who sent the money.
Whoa, Isabella. That's a twist I didn't see coming. But why would she secretly give money to Valentine's brother?
That's a good question.
What's her angle?
It leads us to another layer of intrigue.
Okay.
Remember, Isabella is a very sharp, observant woman.
Yeah.
And she's likely aware of the dynamics between Valentine and Francisco and the widow.
Okay, so maybe she's trying to help Francisco out of genuine kindness.
Maybe.
Or could this be a strategic move? Is she trying to, like, influence the situation somehow?
It's certainly possible.
Yeah.
Isabella is a bit of a wild card.
Mm-hmm.
She's not as openly outspoken as Valentine, but she has her own motivations.
Okay.
And a real knack for, like, playing the game.
Yeah.
Her actions add a delicious layer of complexity to the already tangled relationships in the play.
Speaking of tangled relationships, what's happening on the romantic front?
Okay.
Is Valentine starting to warm up to the widow despite his initial resistance to marriage?
This is where things take an unexpected turn.
Oh.
Remember that rumor circulating about Valentine being secretly married?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Isabella decides to use that to her advantage.
How?
She starts dropping hints suggesting that Valentine's not only married,
Okay.
but that he's married to her,
Oh.
and that they're expecting a child.
Wait, what? She's spreading a false rumor.
She is.
That's a bold move.
It is.
But why would she do that? Is she trying to create chaos? Or is there, like, something more to her scheme?
Oh, there's definitely a method to her madness.
Okay.
Isabella is playing a very clever game.
Yeah.
You see, she's tired of her sister's constant, prying into her life
Yeah.
and her suspicions about Isabella's, romantic interests.
Okay.
So she decides to give her a taste of her own medicine.
So it's a bit of, like, playful revenge.
Yeah.
She's basically weaponizing gossip to mess with her sister.
Yeah.
That's classic.
Yeah.
But how does the widow react to this news?
As you can imagine, the widow is not pleased.
Yeah.
At first, she tries to, brush it off.
Yeah.
But it's clear that the rumor has, it struck a nerve.
Right.
She starts to question her own judgment,
Yeah.
wondering if she misjudged Valentine all along.
This is where Valentine's willfully poor act might actually backfire on him.
Yeah.
The widow is she's a proud woman.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea that he might have secretly married her sister while pretending to be penniless, it's a blow to her ego.
Precisely. And here's where the play really digs into the complexities of human emotion.
Uh-huh.
The widow's pride is wounded, but there's also a hint of, jealousy there.
Oh.
Is she starting to develop feelings for Valentine?
Ooh, that's a good question. The play's certainly setting us up for romantic showdown.
It is.
But how does Valentine react to this rumor that he's married to Isabella? Does he play along? Or does he try to, like, set the record straight?
Well, that's the cliffhanger we'll leave you with.
Okay.
Remember, Valentine is, he's unpredictable.
Yeah.
And always a few steps ahead. His reaction to this rumor is going to have major repercussions for everyone involved.
All right, listeners, we are on the edge of our seats. Will Valentine embrace the lie? Will the widow fall for his charm? And will Francisco ever discover the true identity of his benefactor? We'll find out in the final act of our deep dive into Wit Without Money. Stay tuned. Okay, welcome back to the grand finale of our deep dive into Wit Without Money.
Yeah, this is it.
We've got secret benefactors, tangled love affairs, and a whole lot of witty chaos swirling around.
That's right.
Last we left off, Isabella had thrown a major wrench in the works, remember?
Yes.
Spreading that rumor about being married to Valentine.
Oh, yeah, big time.
I am so ready to see how this all plays out.
We'll get ready, because Act 5 is where Beaumont and Fletcher really crank up the drama. And the laughs, too. It's just when you think you know where the story's going, they throw in another twist.
Okay. All right, I'm ready. I'm ready for it. Remind us where we left off. Valentine's supposedly married to Isabella. Francisco's trying to woo the widow's sister. And the widow's pride is a little bruised. What happens next?
Okay, well, just as these romantic plots are reaching their peak, Valentine's past comes knocking in a big way. His uncle shows up.
Uh-oh.
And the merchant he owes money to.
Oh, no.
They're ready to collect on his debt and force him to reclaim his inheritance.
Talk about bad timings. They basically barge in, ready to, burst Valentine's carefully constructed bubble of willful poverty.
Exactly. They are determined to, drag him back into the world of wealth and responsibility, whether he likes it or not. And their arrival, it couldn't be more perfect. They witness this scene where Valentine, in his typical flamboyant style, is rejecting their offers of help and mocking their, conventional values.
He even tells them to go take possession and bring my children down, to roast like rabbits. Wait. Did he just tell them to, roast their children? Even for the 1600s, that is some dark humor.
Oh, Valentine never shies away from pushing the boundaries, you
Yeah.
know? He's deliberately provocative. He uses his wit to challenge their assumptions and to kind of expose the hypocrisy he sees in, their attachment to wealth.
It's like he's almost like enjoying the chaos,
Yeah, a little bit.
but with his creditors, breathing down his neck.
Yeah.
This is where his luck runs out.
Well, it seems that way. But just when all hope appears lost, this mysterious package arrives.
Okay.
And it's filled with these luxurious clothes. And there's a note inside proclaiming that, they are intended for the most noble and deserving gentleman of Valentine.
Hold on. Is this another, like, secret gift from Isabella?
That's what everyone assumes.
Okay.
But the play, it cleverly keeps us guessing. We never get definitive confirmation of who sent the clothes. And then suddenly, Valentine is transformed back into a wealthy gentleman, much to the astonishment of his uncle and the merchant.
It's like a Cinderella story, but with a, like, mischievous and unpredictable twist.
Mm.
Okay, so does Valentine use his newfound wealth to finally try and impress the widow?
He does, but not in the way you might expect. He doesn't, flaunt his riches or try to buy her affection. Instead, what he does is he orchestrates this series of events that expose the true nature of, everyone involved, including himself.
This is where I need, like, all the details. What does he do? Does he finally, like, reveal his true feelings for the widow?
He starts by confronting the three suitors,
Okay.
uses his wit to kind of expose their shallowness and mock their obsession with the widow's wealth. And then he stages this public display of affection with the widow, leading everyone to believe that they are, a married couple.
Wait, he's basically turning Isabella's lie into reality. That is a bold move, even for Valentine.
Mm-hmm.
But what's his game plan here? Is he trying to, like, make the widow jealous?
Yeah.
Or is he trying to, like, force her hand?
It's a brilliant strategy because it allows him to do both. By pretending to be married to the widow, he disarms her, removes the kind of pressure of courtship. At the same time, he forces her to confront her own feelings. Is she truly indifferent to him? Or is she, secretly relieved that he's no longer off limits, because of his supposed marriage?
It's like he's playing, like, 4D chess with everyone's hearts.
I know.
The play keeps us guessing about his true intentions.
Mm-hmm.
Is he genuinely, like, falling for the widow? Or is this all part of some elaborate game to win her over?
Exactly. The ambiguity is part of the play's genius.
Mm-hmm.
We see glimpses of, genuine emotion from Valentine, but he's also a master manipulator.
Okay.
Always in control of the narrative.
And what about Francisco and Isabella? Are they in on this scheme?
That's the beauty of it. We never really find out. The play leaves it open to interpretation, letting the audience draw their own conclusions. It's as if the playwrights are saying, we've given you all the pieces, now you decide how they fit together.
I love how this play keeps us on our toes, but what's the final outcome? Does all this chaos and trickery actually lead to any, like, real happiness?
The play ends with this flurry of marriages.
Okay.
Valentine and the widow are officially wed, as are Francisco and Isabella. Even Valentine's uncle gets swept up in the matrimonial frenzy.
So it's a happy ending. Everyone gets what they want.
On the surface, yes. But the play's conclusion is it's deliberately ambiguous.
Uh-huh.
We're left to wonder if these marriages are based on, genuine affection or simply a kind of convenient resolution to a very chaotic situation. Has Valentine truly found love with the widow, or is he just playing the role of the devoted husband?
So wit without money doesn't really give us a neat and tidy answer about whether, wealth or wit is the key to happiness.
Exactly. And that's what makes it so thought-provoking. It leaves us pondering the complexities of, human relationships and the different ways we seek love, security, and social standing.
This has been such a fascinating deep dive. We've explored the play's hilarious dialogue. It's like colorful characters and it's really, really thought-provoking themes. But what stands out to you as the most important takeaway from Wit Without Money?
For me, it's the play's challenge to conventional values. Valentine, with all his flaws and contradictions, embodies the spirit of rebellion against, societal expectations.
Yeah.
He shows us that happiness isn't always found in the pursuit of wealth and status. Sometimes it's about embracing our individuality, using our wits to navigate the world, and finding joy in the unexpected.
For our listeners who are now intrigued by this 17th century comedy, where can they find it?
Wit Without Money is readily available online through resources like Project Gutenberg. It's a delightful read. It's full of witty dialogue, complex characters, and timeless questions about human nature.
And if you enjoyed this deep dive, be sure to share it with your friends. Check out our other episodes. Until next time, Happy reading.